Modern cutting boards leave a lot to be desired. They slowly dull your knives and leftover scraps dirty your countertops. But what if I told you these troubles didn't have to exist? My name is Seth Hillstrom, and my project is the scrap bin cutting board. I often found myself making a mess with scraps or scrubbing the kitchen counter to remove various messes in an effort to make up for what a cutting board couldn't do. I decided to integrate a detachable scrap bin to provide a more user-friendly experience and reduce the amount of time spent cleaning after cooking. Now let's get to the fun parts, the manufacturing process. I first started by measuring out how long I wanted the overall cutting board to be, and then I took these over to the chop saw in order to cut them to length. To secure the pieces together, I used wood glue to provide a strong mating interface between each individual wood piece, and then clamped these to let the glue set and dry for over 24 hours. Once the glue was set, I ran the board through a planer until the board was flat, leaving a nice flat finish. As you can tell, this definitely took a few tries. I took the board to the table saw and trimmed the sides of the board to be flush. Don't forget ear and eye protection while doing this. The final step was ensuring that the board was left smooth. I stepped up sandpaper grits from 120 grit to 330 grit until no sharp edges or rough spots were left. This wraps up the overall processing of the wooden aspects of the cutting board. Moving on to the metal manufacturing, I wanted to protect the sides of the cutting board but also provide a decorative siding that resists corrosion due to the location of the product. I took a strip of aluminum due to its corrosion resistance and cut it down to size so I could cold forge it into place. This will provide a mounting surface for the latch and keep the board from cracking if it gets dropped. Using a 3/32 drill bit, I made pilot holes so that the wood wouldn't crack when screws were added, and then used a chamfer bit to make sure that the screws would be flush. Finally, I drilled the screws into the cutting board, securing the metal border in place. The final aspect of the project is the catch bin, which I formed using 1/8 inch high-density polyethylene to provide a stable bin. While my original plan didn't work out due to the material limitations, I was able to thermoform and plastic weld it together using a heat gun and a lot of clamps. The help of friends is highly recommended for this process. Once I obtained the net shape, I used a Dremel and a hot metal bit to melt the sides of the bin into place and then check for leaks. I then heated up the latches and press formed these into the sides of the cutting bin to make sure that there were no protrusions on the interior. I finally finished it off with a nice mineral oil finish to preserve the wood for years to come. I hope you enjoyed this project, and now you too can make your very own scrap bin cutting board.